I'm the best, so do not test the top of my profession. The master of my chosen field, of that there is no question. Take the time to listen to what I have to say. So what I have to say, game that we have to play. It's serious profession. Serious.
Hi, my name is Patrick Paus, and welcome to my series of lectures on how to set up the criteria for success at tennis. Now, the reason that you are here is because everything else you have so far tried to be successful at tennis has failed. You cannot expect to become a successful tennis player if you just go out on a tennis court and start hitting tennis balls, hoping that at some point you are going to be successful. The chances again of that happening are zero. What are these mental criteria for success at tennis? Well, they're not just about what you should do. They are also about what you should not do. But because you have already been playing tennis before you learnt these mental criteria, we will also be addressing the problems that it has caused your tennis game by not knowing these criteria. I'd like to talk about the ideological possession of winning in tennis. Now, I really do not know why it exists so strongly in tennis. I just know that it does. Perhaps it's because it's an individual sport and you feel like your pride is on the line. Or perhaps it's because whenever you watch professional tennis, those players are out there trying to do absolutely everything they possibly can to win. But those are professional tennis players, and they are playing for money, for fame, for glory, for a sense of history. While you, at your level of tennis, are playing to beat Joe Smuckatelli. You see, none of your tennis scores are ever going to go down to the Tennis Hall of Fame. You're not going to make any money. You're not going to be famous. You won't have any kind of a sense of glory. You're playing purely and simply to win. And in truth, you're winning very little. You've just beat Joe Smuckatelli. Now, I'd like to paint you a picture. It's a beautiful summer day, and you arrive at the tennis courts. The courts are still shaded a bit by the trees. There's just a refreshing breeze blowing. The sun's shining. It's perfect conditions for playing tennis. And now your opponent arrives, and everything's good with the world. And you're about to play the game you profess to love. And so the match begins. But the moment the match begins, your ideological possession starts to take over. You see, you're not there to enjoy the day or to enjoy playing tennis. You're there to win. And from the very first point, you start to try to win. Now, if you win, you're happy. You've won. Win another point, well, you're happy. But the funny thing about winning is you can't really get too much happier than just happy. But winning is a double-edged sword. And the other side of it is losing. So let's take a look at the losing side. Let's say you now lose a point. Well, you're certainly not happy anymore. But let's say now you lose another point. Well, a bit of anxiety might set in. Lose another point, and now maybe you're frustrated. Lose another point, and maybe you're mad. Maybe you're even getting to the point of being angry. Now, let's say at this point, your opponent calls one of your balls out that was close. Well, now you might get even madder. And you might even start to yell at your opponent. If it happens again, you could get so frustrated that you just decide to walk off the court, hop in your car, go home and kick the dog. But the point is here, guys and girls, is that winning has a little bit of an upside, but losing, you can go right down the rabbit hole. So let's continue on with your match. And now you are doing what I call playing emotional tennis. You are happy when you win, so you're up high when you win, but when you lose, you're down low. And this emotional tennis continues throughout the match. You're going up high when you win, down low when you lose, and you don't really know whether you should be happy or sad because you don't really know whether you won or not till the match is over. Now, let's say the match is over and you won. So now you hop in your car, you go home, you come through the door, and there's your wife standing there. She asks you, honey, how did you make out in your tennis? And you said, I won. And she says, well, that's nice. Now, go take a shower. I have a lot of chores around the house I'd like you to do. And you say, mustering all the courage you can, I don't do house chores. I'm a winner. And she says, of course you are. But now, just go take your shower. And when you get back, I will show you the chores I wish for you to do. And now, 2 hours after winning, you are now outside painting your fence. And you're thinking, I'm a winner. But at the same time, if you really think about it, you didn't really enjoy that beautiful day, because the moment the tennis match started, you were obsessed with winning. And you didn't really enjoy the tennis match because, again, you were obsessed with winning. And instead of enjoying the tennis match, you went on an emotional roller coaster of getting high when you won and getting low when you lose. And that continued throughout the match until at the end you finally found out that you were a winner. But isn't it time, guys and girls, to put this ideological possession about winning in proportion? You see, 2 hours after winning Wimbledon, you can bet your bottom dollar that Roger Federer wasn't outside painting his fence. Now let's begin to look at the downside of your obsession with winning. And let's begin where it all began, where you first started to play tennis. Now you probably borrowed a racket, you went out with a friend and a can of tennis balls, you went down to the public court and you started hitting tennis balls back and forth. And even if you swung and completely missed the ball, you didn't get angry, you didn't get mad, you probably just laughed because you knew you were just beginning to learn the game. And then you continued to play because, first of all, the game was fun. Secondly, you were learning something. Thirdly, you were getting good exercise. So you continue to play. And then one day, either you or a friend introduced the element of scoring. And once the element of scoring came in, there became what you may think of as a subtle change, but it is an absolute major change. And that is, you stop playing tennis from trying to get better and having fun, and now everything became about winning. You slowly became ideologically possessed about winning, and your ego completely took over your game. Now let's for a moment talk about the ego. Nobody has ever walked away from anyone saying, you know, I really like that person. They had a really good ego. Your ego is obnoxious, it's braggadocious, it's elitist, it's all about winning, and it's in your face. Now we all know not to allow our egos to take over our personality, but for some reason you people feel that it's okay to let your ego take over your tennis game. And you see, the only thing your ego loves when it comes to tennis is winning. And your ego just doesn't want to win, it wants to win every single point. If your ego had its way, you would win every single point with either a forehand or a backhand winner. Every single service would be an ace. You would completely crush and humiliate your opponent. That is what your ego wants to do. And is that the person you want in charge of your tennis game? One of the things you should do is each and every time you hit the ball is start to observe how high the ball goes over the net. After you've observed how high the ball goes over the net, then observe how deeply into your opponent's court does the ball bounce. If it bounces, say, close to his service line, then simply increase the height at which you hit the ball over the net. And keep increasing that height until you notice that the ball is now bouncing much closer to his baseline than to your opponent's service line. And focus on that fact. You see, one of the ways you can win at tennis is to keep the ball back deep, but also at the same time focus on not making unforced errors. So each and every time you hit the ball, don't try and hit the ball as hard as you can. Try and hit the ball so that you get it over the net. And then focus on how high you're getting it over the net. And then how deep the ball goes. Do that, guys and girls, and you will actually start to get better and better at your tennis once again. And you'll get away from the ideological possession of winning, where you realistically have little to gain. Isn't it far better to actually start to become a better and better tennis player again than to concentrate and obsess on winning?